Hi, students. How are you doing? Welcome to Nayasim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. Oh, the fact that everybody think that Black people owe them something is something that I do not understand. I mean, Black people owe everybody except for themselves. That is to tell you how ignorant and selfish majority of these people are. They wake up every day to cook up story that will suit their narrative. Because tell me how this Palestinian woman is talking about her experience traveling to Palestine with Black people, saying that she expected Black people to understand what it means to be oppressed, like Black people are not oppressed. The fact that you all do not see us as oppressed is just, see Black people as oppressed, it's just really wild. And then not just only that, saying that Black people coming to Palestine are more they have more power than Palestinians. I mean, I have never heard something like that. If Black people that came from outside Palestinian have more power than so do Afro-Palestinians, do they also have power? Because I want to understand too. I want to understand. Because you all are so quick to tell us that you have George Floyd's painting in Palestine. So for that reason, you all do not have any atom of racism in you. You know, you all continue to lie. You have to tell, you said that you have to journal your experience in Palestine. So does it mean that you cooked it up? Because when you have to journal your experience, there must be something cooking. Let's get into this video.
I don't know what I was expecting from my trip to Palestine, but I certainly did not expect to walk away with racial tensions between myself and the Black people in our group. And that's really disappointing for me to admit, because I was so excited to go on this trip with Black Americans, because I was always under the impression that Black people will be our greatest allies because they understand more than anybody what it's like to live under occupation, what it's like to be oppressed and racially profiled. But during the trip, it felt like some people were too busy playing oppression Olympics to fully grasp the experiences of Palestinians living in Palestine. Some people came on the trip with a very limited understanding of the Palestinian people and the Palestinian cause, which is problematic in and of itself. But the most problematic thing was the fact that some people were applying a Western lens of racial dynamics to a place where it does not apply. I am not going to sit here and deny that anti-blackness exists in every single part of the world. But the issue of race is much different in Palestine than in most other places in the world. In Palestine, Palestinians of all colors are undoubtedly the most oppressed people. In Palestine, a non-Palestinian Black person is more privileged than a Palestinian of any color. And an American, Black or white, is one of the most privileged people in Palestine, right beneath Israelis. Some people in the group were too busy victimizing themselves and taking out their anger on all the wrong people to sit with the reality that in modern day, there are some people that are more oppressed than them. One person in particular was incredibly problematic, especially considering she was one of the group leads who was hosting private conversations exclusively for the 7 Black people in the group, which under almost any other circumstances I would encourage. I encourage Black people to create safe spaces for themselves to discuss racial issues among themselves. But the issue is that the only comments I heard come out of this person's mouth about Palestine and Palestinians were negative, were about how racist we are, were about how slavery persisted until the 20th century in Palestine, which is such an uneducated take, by the way. It was not exclusive to Black people, and it was not done mostly by Palestinians. So I believe these conversations being hosted by a person who came to Palestine with biases against Palestinians were so dangerous to Palestinians and ultimately to Black Palestinians, Afro-Palestinians in Palestine. He sat and broke bread with the family who runs the PA0le Center in Jerusalem. And they are Black. They are visibly Black. And yet they are highly respected in the Palestinian community for the work that they do for Palestinians. I even talked to the chef at our hotel in the last couple of days, who was a political prisoner. He had just gotten out of prison 2 months before we arrived in Palestine. And he told us that he sat side by side with an Afro-Palestinian, son of the couple who runs the PA0le Center. He sat with him in prison, and he was shocked when I asked him about racism in Palestine, because he was like, those are my brothers. I don't care what color they are. During this trip, I sat with Palestinians and I told them, talk to me bluntly. I'm a Palestinian. I'm not going to judge our community. Talk to me about racism in Palestine. And every single one of them was like, what is there to say? Like, racism exists in every community, yes. But in Palestine, it's actually few and far between, because the issue of race is so much more complicated in a place like Palestine. And I have been involved in Black activism for many years. And I know that when I am in Black spaces, it is not my place to call out issues within the Black community, especially when those people are being slaughtered. When I am in Black spaces, I am there to observe, to learn, to be an ally, not to call out Black people. By the way, these same people who sat there and talked all this shit about how racist Palestinians are did not hesitate to pose in front of a ginormous George Floyd mural painted by a Palestinian artist. They posed with that artist in front of the mural. And I bet they wouldn't dare look that artist in the face and say that he's racist. By the way, go support that artist. He's Banksy.2 on Instagram. He's an incredible person, incredible artist who I'm still in communication with. He is struggling right now. His daughter is in the hospital, so please reach out and try to help in any way that you can. But I refused to pose in that picture with the rest of the group because literally an hour before that, they were making fun of Palestinians. We passed a mural that was supposed to be, I believe, of Nelson Mandela, but it wasn't the greatest art. And so it kind of looked like George Floyd, and they couldn't tell who it was. And they literally said, I'm so sick of these people. And yet they won't hesitate to pose in front of a George Floyd mural for a social media photo op. Even when we were about to walk into a masjid, there were beggars outside the masjid who asked some people for money. And she made a comment about how, oh, notice how they're not asking the Black people. About to walk into a masjid, there were beggars outside the masjid who asked some people for money. And she made a comment about how, oh, notice how they're not asking the Black people for money because they think all Black people are poor. And I said, you don't know that. Those same people didn't ask me, a Palestinian American, for money. They're not assuming I'm poor. In fact, when they know you're American, you're immediately up here to them. They immediately assume you have money and that you're privileged in ways that they'll never experience. The reason that they didn't ask some people for money had nothing to do with the fact that those people are Black. They simply just approached a few people out of the entire group asking for money. I could ramble about this for hours because it was one of the most frustrating things of my life to watch people come from America to a place like Palestine and act like they're more oppressed than people literally living under occupation. And it's so ironic because the entire time I'm trying to find parallels between the lives of Palestinians, between the racial profiling that I experienced as a Palestinian and the experiences of Black people in America. I thought that this would be an opportunity for us to come together and understand each other better, not to create more division. But this is why some people are so dangerous to the movement, not only to the pro-Palestinian movement, but also to Black activism. Because if I was somebody else, if I haven't already done so much work for the Black community, if I didn't already have a deep understanding of racial dynamics, This entire experience might have pushed me away from the Black community, but I know that these rotten tomatoes in the community do not represent the Black community as a whole. One of the most ironic parts about all of this is that before making this video, I was sitting in a cafe in Amman, journaling my thoughts about this topic, and I got interrupted by a waiter at the restaurant who asked me where I'm from, and we started chatting, and it turns out he is Jamaican and Palestinian. But ultimately, I think if you have internal biases against Palestinians, you should not be going to Palestine. And if you don't want to acknowledge the experiences of Palestinians in their entirety, then to be honest, we don't need you as an ally. Seeing what Palestinians are going through only makes you think, yeah, no, we have it worse. When you're an American, you are not a true ally. And I will be talking more about the issue of people taking trips to Palestine with a limited understanding of Palestinians and Palestinian history, because there were so many other issues with some of the people who went on this trip for all the wrong reasons. I don't know. One of the biggest lessons that I learned from the people in Palestine is to find beauty and positivity.
All right, y'all, this hate too. I'm gonna make this quick because that one was 5 minutes, and girl, I feel like I was yapping too much. Anyway, she decided to take 7 Black people to Palestine to hand out food, grapes, water, whatever, and give back to the people of Palestine. Okay, cool and great and gravy. But the thing is, those 7 Black people was called racial slurs the whole time they was in Palestine helping the Palestinian people. Now pause. Because why the fuck would you disrespect somebody who got out of their bed, got on a flight, and paid for a ticket to come help you? What the fuck? What happened to don't bite the hand that feeds you? But seems like the Palestinian people was up here handing out racial slurs to the Black people, and then those 7 Black people came and told her, this woman right here, who's also a Palestinian, and say, hey, I feel a little uncomfortable. They call me a slur. I don't like being called something when I'm out here to help you. I'm trying to help you. Like, why are you? Yeah. And then she decided to say, Black and white people are the most privileged in America and Palestine. Girl, what the fuck are you talking about? Black people ain't never had no privilege. Stop the cap. So she went on a whole watered down YT woman tyrant rant about how she was upset with the Black people because they felt racially discriminated against. They was experiencing anti-blackness, and she was upset because they was experiencing anti-blackness. Do you see how SLOW that sound? That sounds mad dumb. But yet she got on here on her fifth video down from this one and say, oh, Palestine, this and that, and what, and I can't believe this and that. So you upset with them because they was Black in Palestine. Huh? And then she going to say, oh, Black people are in Palestine no matter the color. 304, what the fuck is you talking about? And make it snappy. You got on here with them thin lips and them little ass teeth and that overbite. No, I'm sorry, that underbite. And then you decided to cap. You chose cap. You didn't even choose fat. And then the fact was, those 7 Black people didn't even come to the internet. They came to you. You decided to come to the internet. And then blatantly lie on those 7 Black people. Watch while they get told up in the comments by other people. And Black people, why y'all keep going to be Captain Save-A-Ho? Take the cape off. That's why we're not moving. Y'all are going to learn that they don't fuck with you. No matter how much you want to be empathetic, turn them feel off. Because they don't fuck with you. You only got you. And she's so upset because I'm trying to figure out why you upset. The people came and told you that they were racially discriminated against. Then trying to say racism is not the same as in America. Bitch, it doesn't matter. Bitch, it doesn't matter. Bitch, I'm helping your people. Have your people have some fucking decency, bitch. Because I don't got to be here. And then people are like, oh, it shows that we care. We have empathy. Why would you care about people who don't care about you? I'm sorry, but that's just how the way we got to be right now. That's just how we got to be. Because obviously, people keep getting away with shit. And y'all keep allowing them to fuck you in your ass. But no. Dora the Explorer over here decided to get on here and cap down. She didn't even chose fat. She chose a lie. She just came on here talking about some Octu Rubber Goose chocolate shoot. Girls, don't piss me off. This whole situation, Black people, you got to learn how to be still. You got to learn how to worry about yourself and worry about your community. Because the more that y'all give all this affection to everybody else in different communities, the more and the more and the more y'all going to keep getting punched down on. How much are you going to take before you decide, okay, that's it? Oh, okay.
The craziest part about types like this is they will start a fight that they know they can't finish. This story that she told, bashing the black people that came to her, because she's the one that brought the story to the internet. It wasn't the black people. They didn't bring it to the internet. They brought it to her. And these black people were telling their experience of anti-blackness when they were assisting the Palestinians that are currently experiencing an ethnic cleansing campaign, basically inquiring as to why this is something that's going on with everything that's happening to them. Why do they still have time for anti-blackness? Now, she could have used this story as a unifying call to end white supremacy, to address the problems of anti-blackness around the world and non-black communities, but that's not what she did. She instead used this story to bash the black people that came to her privately and told her about their experiences when they were assisting the Palestinians that are experiencing an ethnic cleansing campaign, the anti-blackness that they were experiencing. And again, this could have been a unifying message where she called out white supremacy and said that it has no place in Palestine, and basically said we need to do better because these black people came over here to assist us. These black people are actually allies that got on a plane to assist us. She instead talked about how uneducated they were about the situation and how their anti-blackness was different in Palestine, as if anti-blackness isn't the same across all communities, even in communities where there are black people that exist. There are black Latinos, and Latinos are some of the most anti-black people in the world. And it does not stop me from calling out anti-blackness in the Latino community. And not to belabor this point, because someone dropped down into the comment section of my comment on her video where I basically said, so let me get this straight. You have a conversation with black people that are over there assisting your people, and they didn't have to go, but they are over there assisting your people that are currently experiencing an ongoing ethnic cleansing campaign. And they bring to you in private, to you, not the internet, to you, discussing the anti-blackness that they are experiencing from Palestinians that they are over there helping, assisting, while they are going through their ongoing ethnic cleansing campaign. And you say that those black people are no longer your allies. You thought that they were your allies, is what you said, and they're engaging in oppression Olympics. And the person dropped down into the comment section of that comment and said that these black people were engaging in anti-Palestinian propaganda. How are they engaging in anti-Palestinian propaganda when they weren't the ones that brought it to the internet? She was. She brought it to the internet to show us her anti-blackness and what she actually thinks of black people. Types like this don't like black people. They let you know that. I have consistently said on this page that for a lot of people, and this election showed, it is more about protecting that proximity to whiteness than dismantling white supremacy. She's the example of that. She is one of the examples of that. And I will amend it even further. It is more about exploiting white supremacy than dismantling it, but you only care about white supremacy when it's in response to your people. So you can look at Zionism and say that Zionism is just white supremacy because it dehumanizes Palestinians, and that's true, but you don't actually care about racism and anti-blackness because it doesn't impact you in any way, shape, or form. You see, black people care about these other things because we know that ultimately if someone is xenophobic or someone is anti-Semitic, that ultimately it will make its way to racism. And unfortunately for a lot of y'all, non-blacks, y'all don't feel that. Y'all don't feel that same way because you feel that if you're racist, that racism won't touch you. It won't affect you, especially if you show that you're anti-black, which is what your video did. And again, not to belabor the point, again, because I know this goes over a lot of people's heads. A lot of these pro-Pali, faux revolutionary leftists that are online, it goes over your head that it wasn't the black people that brought it to the internet, it was her. So it wasn't the black people that were engaging in anti-Palestinian propaganda. She brought it to the internet to show us that she's anti-black. And I also want to say this to the Zionists that dropped down to the comment section of the videos where I'm criticizing types like this. Fuck you too. Y'all don't think I remember when y'all used to remind me that I was black? As if that's something to be ashamed of? I'm not your ally at all. Will never be your ally. Fuck you too. And I personally cannot wait to the point where we have a country where we no longer fund your ethnic cleansing government. Go fuck yourselves. So there's a girl that made a horrible take concerning black people that were experiencing anti-blackness when they went to help Palestinians in Gaza. And she said she expected for these black people to be allies to the Palestinians. And they were not allies, I guess, when they went to help. You know, I guess that didn't matter to her. No, those black people that went to help the Palestinians, that basically got on planes and flew over to help the Palestinians, they're not allies. They didn't show their allyship then. She basically said that they proved that they weren't allies because they started complaining about the anti-blackness that they were experiencing at the hands of the Palestinians, again, that they went to help, and said that those black people were engaging in oppression Olympics. Now, it's a stupid take. It really is a not well thought out take. It really is a not well thought out take, but it exposes a couple of things about her. One, she doesn't actually value the opinions of black people, because when these black people started pointing out the anti-blackness that they were experiencing, she again said that they were engaging in oppression Olympics and they should ignore the anti-blackness that they were experiencing from Palestinians because it's different in Palestine. And how dare you, darky, point out the anti-blackness that you're experiencing at the hands of the Palestinians when they are experiencing so much strife right now. That's the point, ma'am. That's what they were pointing out. How do they still have time for anti-blackness when they are literally experiencing an ongoing ethnic cleansing campaign? That's the point that those black people were pointing out to you, that even in all of the stuff that your people are going through, they still have time for anti-blackness. And you try to make the argument that it resonates different in Palestine. It doesn't. Simply because there are black Palestinians doesn't mean that anti-blackness isn't the same. It's on the same accord all across all non-black communities. Every single black person knows that when they go into non-black communities, it is most likely that we will experience some form of anti-blackness. It is the same. It resonates on the same accord across all non-black communities. The disrespect that those black people were experiencing from Palestinians when they were going to help you, they were going to help Palestinians. It's the same disrespect that black people experienced at the hands of Ukrainians that they were going to help. It resonates the same. There is no difference. It has the same root, white supremacy. And it's not lost on me that you saw these black people fly over there to help, do everything in their power to ensure that they were on the front lines to help Palestinians. And that wasn't good enough for you to see them as allies, to respect what they were saying to you, to understand that in all of the stuff that's happening, why do you still have time for anti-blackness? Which just shows us that you also are anti-black and you don't respect the opinions, the words, or the lived experiences of black people. And you only weaponize our struggle to benefit yourselves. I'm going to tell all non-black communities this. Be so fucking for real with this shit. Be so fucking for real. If you want black people to care about you, then this is a basic requirement. A basic requirement. It is non-negotiable. If you want black people to care about you, your people, your causes, then you must respect us. And when you disrespect us, we are always going to point it out. Period. End of discussion. The fucking nerve. I'm gonna just say what I've seen people say over and over again. The take seems made up. It seems like this was just an excuse for her to be anti-black. Plain and simple. She wanted to let black people know that she didn't respect them. So she came up with this story about black people prioritizing themselves in Palestine. I don't believe anything that she's saying at this point. I think that she's lying. I think the take is made up. I think that this was just her excuse to attack black people again. And these are the same people that want black people to just ignore the anti-blackness and still advocate for them. Types like her. I want people to see who she is and see the anti-blackness that we're talking about so that they understand, so that there's no confusion when black people say that they're not coming.
This is why some people are so dangerous to the movement, not only to the pro-Palestinian movement, but also to black activism. Because if I was somebody else, if I haven't already done so much work for the black community, if I didn't already have a deep understanding of racial dynamics, this entire experience might have pushed me away from...
I don't even know where to start, except for that video I found extremely offensive and anti-black. Yeah. No matter where you're at in the world, and I'm talking to black folks now, you have a right to call out anti-blackness. It doesn't matter the circumstances. If somebody is being anti-black, you have the absolute right to call it out. Do not give way on the sidewalk to it. That's the first thing. Second thing, that creator made some points that I agree with in her video. So that I'm saying it. But there were some other points where she took some latitude that isn't hers to take. So there's one part where the creator is like, oh, let me tell you about Black spaces I've been in, and those are not, basically not good Black people, but there are good Black people. I found that exceptionally offensive too. Because you don't speak for the Black community. No matter how often you've been there, you don't speak for us. Much like I do my best to ask, to not center. And it sounded like you were talking about a group of Black women, which I found even more infuriating. Please stop digging up Black activists to justify anti-Black behavior. Some of the commentary, like the artwork, if somebody said something offensive, I absolutely think it appropriate to call out. I would not disagree with the creator there. But I think that people have taken privilege in situations that is not theirs to take on behalf of Black people and to speak for Black people. And I find myself exceedingly so frustrated that I cannot even articulate the way I'd like because of how offensive I found that entire video. It's just offensive. Yeah.
Blackness is everywhere in the world, so you're really just gonna have to get over it. And you Black people are just too stupid and dumb to understand how race works in other countries, so you can't apply it to everywhere. That's a crazy sentiment, but you know what? It has taught me you all are too used to seeing Black people across the diaspora in roles of servitude. I really should say slavery, but servitude will do for this. It's very obvious in the way that you guys talk to and about us, and the way you guys will agree with people being completely racist, because you guys really enjoy and hold on and cling to like white supremacist tactics. You literally hold on to the very things that have caused the atrocities that you are campaigning against. And I need you guys to understand that as long as you're racist or anti-Black, you are never, ever going to succeed at liberation. Never, 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 never. And it should be obvious by now. And if right now, all you have to talk about is Kamala and Black Americans, I think you were always a grifter. Anti-Blackness.
This is all I got from this video. I remember bringing this video, but only her own video, to the other channel. But then I am seeing Black people stitch. I don't know how they found the video, but they found her. And I am glad that Black people found her, but not because, like, you know, to stitch the video or something. Because sometimes people lie about Black people and think they can get away with it. But sometimes you just cannot get away with it. From the story that I heard, for me, I know all this were made up. These people have been fighting tooth and nail, like, you know, to make sure that Black people are being dragged every day. Because tell me how she went to Palestine with Black people. Now everybody's holding Black people like Black people owe them something. You say you expected Black people to understand oppression because they've been through it, right? So what does this conversation that happened with those girls got to do with Black people? And at the same time, I feel like there was never a conversation because these people been making so many things up. So is she trying to tell us that in Palestine, that there aren't anything like anti-Blackness, because it shows on her how anti-Black. I am going to start with her without even talking about the Palestinians and how they treat Afro-Palestinians. People are so quick to come out and tell you that there is nothing like anti-Blackness in us, there aren't anything like racism and all that. We treat everybody the same. You know the truth. You know you all don't treat people that look like me the same, because the way you already started talking about us also shows how you feel about Black people. And the fact that you all think that Black people owe you people their blood. Because tell me the reason why every day you all wake up, you all want to gaslight Black people with George Floyd's painting. Like, His painting is the only thing that you all can always boast of. Like there is a George Floyd's painting in Palestine. So if we are, what do you mean? What do you mean? And you are saying if black people do not want to appreciate Palestinian and all that, there is no need for you going to Palestine. And also there is no need for you being in America if you are not going to also appreciate black people, because they've been fighting for you people. It's only you people that I have ever seen that refuse to use their brain to understand that black people called you people all out to come, let's do the right thing. Come out. Let's do the right thing in November. And you all said no. Now you are looking for black people to understand it because they are the only understandable human beings anybody can ever call on. No, they are no longer understandable. Yeah. And if you said, like with all the story, you said you had to take time to journal it. If you have to journal your experience, it means it is not your experience, because your experience is something you can always wake up to talk about. When I want to tell you about my experience working with some brown people, I will tell you the experience without having to journal it. Why? Because it is my experience. But you see, the situation where I have to journal it, it means I am about to manipulate something to it. I'll probably try to cook the story to be sweeter in the ears of people. Yeah. So you all can actually stop. You all can stop. Because if something like that had happened, I would have also seen a picture of you on the trip, a picture of where you started talking to people, probably not complete video, a picture of some certain things. We are not getting that. Or you want to come out and tell us black people black people should take their time to study about, like, who are you for black people to come and start talking about your experience, or start studying, take their time off to talk about the anti-whatever Palestinian, this thing? Like, how does that sound? It's just like calling my people or telling my people to go and sit down and talk about our Palestinian oppression. How many times have you all sat down to talk about black oppression and the things black people are going through till this very moment? You all really are very selfish. All you want is the way to be good for you, but not the way to be good for me. You want to spoil my own and keep your own good. I am working. I am working. I am gonna draw the curtain here. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.